So tell me then, Matthew, because I'm having a lot of troubles trying to understand this, trying to justify it in my head, because I believe everybody deserves equality, but anti-religious discrimination bill, which prickheads pushing through vehemently, even though 70% of Australians don't really want that and don't feel that it's necessary. What choice do we have? What makes you think that that is warranted in this day and age? Well, Daniel, the truth of the matter is, now please forgive me if I step out of line. I don't mean to step out of line here, but the truth of the matter is, if anyone from any religion, all encompassed, all right, because dares to speak up about what they believe in, dares to speak up with regards to who they allow into their organizations, into their schools, into their churches, we're immediately condemned by the public and social media. And it's a little bit like how you guys are condemned a lot, I would imagine. And you have a platform, you have a right to fight for your rights. You've been doing that for many years now, but we don't seem to have much of a platform, do we? See, I have trouble swallowing that, because I can't remember any situation, I don't think it's very common, where a child who believes in God gets bullied in school compared to an LGBTQI member of society. Okay, we are constantly getting bullied. I was when I was at school. Now I do in inadvertent ways as I'm older, but especially the thing I care about the most is how these young ones in this country, even though it's developing and it's getting better for equal rights, but there's still a lot of people here that attempt suicide, younger ones, so statistics say, and in America. UK not so much, because it's a bit more diverse, but it's those people I'm concerned about. It's the younger ones experiencing your dissension, or people like you anyway. And if you think this discrimination bill is going to do justice for all religions, religion seems to be going out of fashion at the moment, to put it bluntly. People are too afraid to stand up and speak up and say, this is what I believe in, this is what my ancestors have believed in. And it's not indoctrination before you say anything like that. It's truly what people have decided to bestow upon their children. And if their children do believe in their faith and their religion, then they go on to perpetuate that through tradition, through family values. But people seem to be more reluctant these days to admit what they are, through fear of being mocked, through absolute sheer fear of being mocked. And I guess you would understand what that feels like. Tell me where you think you're hard done by. There's a church on every fucking corner that I drive down around here, around in the city. Don't pay taxes, okay? So that's why the Australian Christian Lobby Act had so much money to pile in, and the government ends up having to fucking bow down at them and push through stuff that most Australian citizens don't really want, don't want the government to waste our money on, but they do anyway, okay? So you tell me where you're so hard done by, because there's nobody out there that can get away with discriminating people of religion, because that's your prerogative. That's got nothing to do with us. When do you see gay people going out into the streets protesting against any religion? Never. You don't. Because we grew up understanding what it's like to be penalised for being a minority. So therefore we have first-class education and empathy towards minority groups, or towards just protesting against something because we don't like it. That's what you do all the time. But some might say, you have a fly flying around in here, by the way. There's mesh out there, surely they irritate me. I know they're God's creatures and all, but they do really, they defecate on your food and leave lava eggs. Yes. Sorry, Daniel. The thing is, it's constant. It's like, especially not people with good intentions with religion, but the zealots and the extremists. It's like all you ever dream about and think about and consume is gayness. That's always at the top of your agenda, even though there are far more pressing issues to be dealt with in this country and in any other country. You know, famine, starvation, diseases, cancer. We believe, especially from my organization, we believe that children, this is going to be very controversial, I know you're going to oppose this, but children probably up to around the age of 18 probably wouldn't have a clue what sexual orientation they are. I'm sorry, I know that probably touched a nerve. But what I'm trying to say is that throughout their school years, there's no need for them to understand. There's no need for them to know of any other way until they actually decide who it is they want to be. But all you lot seem to concern about is what other people do behind closed doors in their bedrooms. You might say it's not about choice and that you're born that way. I hear you. I just have troubles trying to digest it and accommodate it. You're telling me that this anti-religion discrimination bill will protect young people, mainly in religious schools or organisations that don't want to hear about gay sex education. We also feel that children of religion are bullied at school because it's not the done thing anymore, because it's not fashionable. So what do we do about that? Nobody's saying that sex education has to be taught explicitly, that it has to be graphic, you know, just an understanding of, hey, kids, there are people out there that are different. There are men who find other men attractive, there are women who find other women attractive, or both. You don't have to go into sordid detail, but it's just a little bit of basic education so that those children growing up to be gay don't feel alienated and don't want to end up trying to take their lives or successfully taking their lives. Members of the LGBTQ, what does that mean? Is it intersex? Is it? Yes. Soon they'll be adding gender fluid. What's the other one? Non-binary. There's quite a few, isn't there? Soon it'll be a long list. But I just wanted to hear your views and opinions, merely, is all I wanted to do, because this bill will go through. And I just think it might be easier for people like yourself to accept that, to embrace it, like we're constantly being asked to embrace your ways and your lifestyle choices. Okay, there's already freedom for religion. There's been freedom for religion for centuries. Nobody turns around when somebody says, I believe in God and I'm going to heaven. Nobody turns around and says, you evil bugger. But if an atheist turns around and says, I actually don't believe in God, I don't believe in the Bible, we're evil, we're the devil, all of a sudden we're into satanic worshipping. I personally feel that if you try to read some of the Bible, even extracts of the Bible, the New Testament, I'm not suggesting the Old Testament, that you might try to change your views a little bit, or just to even be open to the prospect of opening your mind a little bit. You know, it works two ways. Your kind are always telling us that we need to open our minds and broaden our horizons, but touche, you could also do the same. And then perhaps when you get a chance to read parts of the Bible, you might understand where we're coming from. You know, Leviticus and such like. And the thing is that people are always claiming that gay people are thrusting in their face. Oh, here they go again with more rights, more equality. Now they want to adopt. Now they want to get married. Now they want to do this. No. It's only just been implemented in Australia anyway. So that's why it sounds like we've been bashing on and on and on, and it's been going round and round, because we've been trying for years just to get those basic human rights. Okay, so we don't always thrust it in your face. But you guys do. You go around knocking on doors of everyone, trying to spread the word of Jesus. And that's fine. You know, I have no problem with religion per se. The concept is a very nice one. I just have a problem with what people take from the Bible or the Old Testament, misconstrue it, contortion it, take it out of context and use it for their own advantage so that they can put down people who are different. That's basically what all the controversies about. That's basically what has perpetuated for centuries and centuries. Are people who think their shit doesn't stink, who think that they're better than you because they have God on their side. Or, look, Daniel, all we're trying to do is to protect the young ones. Well, you're suggesting that gay people know what they are from a very early age. We truly don't believe that. We truly believe that it's a lot to do with nurture, and that it's a lifestyle and choice that they make as they get older. So we have differing views. There's nothing wrong with that. That's why it makes for an interesting debate. But that's why we're suggesting that if gay sex education is implemented into schools, it could suddenly become fashionable for children. They could suddenly find it normal. I believe everyone has a right to decide what they want to believe, and I'll respect you for whatever you want to believe. But don't use that as a stepping stone to condemn other people that you don't even know just because they're different. You know, that person might actually be a much more decent person than any one of your other disciples or followers or believers. So that's the way I've been raised. Don't judge what's here. Judge what's inside here and up here. And I'm sorry, but I think this anti-religion discrimination bill is a load of fucking bollocks, a load of horse shit. I'm going to be honest, we don't want it normalised. We want children and young people to have a choice. A choice of their own. I have a copy of the New Testament. It's a PDF file. I can send you that PDF file if you like. Just browse if you feel compelled to read one night when you're not so busy. Would you like another drink? Maybe a small one. Oh, actually, blow it. Give me a big one. Do you know Jesus? No, Matthew, actually I didn't. Did you? Did anyone of this era know Jesus? Probably not, no. In fact, I wish I hadn't known Jesus, or did know Jesus, because I think he would have been quite a cool liberal guy. You know, as he hung out with prostitutes, craftsmen, and so-called peasants and paupers at the time, I think he wouldn't have been that judgmental. You know, very much unlike today, people that follow Jesus of today, or the extremists and the zealots anyway. Do you think they might have it a little bit wrong? I think so. Fucking patronising little shit. Carry on drinking, I'll be out in a minute. Why does anyone who's in a loving relationship want children? I think the answer to that would be it's an extension of our love. And you know, I've never been one to go with the grain and just do things because that's what you're supposed to do, because most people do it. And to tell you the truth, I never visualized me having children at all during most of my life, but it's a void in our life that hasn't been filled. There's still this big great chasm in our life, and you know, I mean, we'd live fine and be happy without it, but it would just be an added benefit, an added love to our family. Children who are parented by lesbians or gay men would be ridiculed to the highest degree. Things have changed somewhat in this era, still not quite where we want it to be, but it is kind of out there more through social media, on the television.
just in general, people being a little bit more brave in first world countries anyway to be who they are and come out and just be. And so there will be some bullying, I would imagine, but I would hope to think that would just make them stronger beings. And of course we would nip it in the bud with the principal or the teachers at school to let them know straight away who the perpetrators were, so that it wouldn't happen again. Children get bullied a lot for all sorts of reasons. And if everybody had that theory that, oh no, gay people shouldn't have children because inevitably they're going to go through the ridicule, the humiliation and the bullying, then we would never break boundaries, and we would never be able to turn around one day and say, hey, we as gay people have successfully raised families.
Yeah, that's something well, you can't really look into when fostering. You can't decide who you choose. You can't go in and say, oh, I want a brown baby. With fostering, it's not like that.
Do you think you might influence them to be gay?
That's the most pathetic question I've ever heard in my life. Are you serious? I don't know whether you get this, freak interviewer, but gay men are usually born that way. I've spoke to many of my friends, gay friends, over the years, and they've all said the same thing as I have. We felt that we were different. We felt that we had an attraction towards the same sex from a very early age, very early. In fact, so much that my girlfriends up to the age of 16, 18, I think, it was faked. I could only kiss them and I couldn't go any further. That's when the alarm bells started to ring. But a lot of people think that it's a life choice, that we sit there one day and decide that we want to change over and go over to the other side for whatever reasons, but that's bullshit. Oh my God, you are asking the most pathetic, outmoded questions. I don't care what my child becomes or was born with, as long as they're happy. And I would always be there with advice, unbiased advice. I have plenty of heterosexual friends, plenty of heterosexual members of my family, so why would I be biased against them turning out to be heterosexual?
How will you help them to make friends and socialise within the community?
Well, as part of my job, I help various people integrate into the community and socialise and make friends. You know, my partner and I have been around for quite a while, and in London, where I come from, where we used to live, there were many pride events and gay parent events where we would meet other people in our situation, and lots of children bonded, lots of their children bonded with other children of gay parents, and so there'd be ways that we could help them.
Do you want a child for selfish reasons? Just to fill a void in your life?
Well, the same question could be applied to anyone, couldn't it? Do people want a child for selfish reasons? Apart from going with the flow and doing what tradition dictates to us, which I guess is why a lot of people do have children. Oh, it's time to start a family, I guess. Yeah, we should. You know, there are many people out there, many heterosexuals included, I'm sure, that have had children just because they felt it was time to, because they felt they needed to. A lot of people probably have children for selfish reasons. We're wise enough now, we're mature enough now to understand what it means to raise a child. I think the boat has gone. We've missed that ship because now it's legal in Queensland recently to adopt a child for gay people. It's all too late. That adoption process takes 4 years. In England, we were about to adopt before we moved to Australia. So we've missed that boat now. But if we were able to adopt a child or foster a child, teenager, whatever, it would be purely for non-selfish reasons. Yes, it would help to fill a void in our life, but that void doesn't need to be filled. We'd carry on through life just fine without it. It's just that we have so much to offer. We have so much love to offer. We have so much resources to offer, a home to offer. And we know that it would enrich our lives and, you know, not make it better. It would enrich it, which is different as far as I'm concerned.